When it comes to telling a man that you're abstinent, timing and delivery are everything. This is not just about stating a fact, this is about standing firm in your values while also being clear about your expectations. Many women hesitate to bring up abstinence because they fear rejection, judgment, or that it will scare a man away. But the right man, the one who truly respects you and aligns with your values, will not be deterred by this conversation. In fact, he will appreciate your honesty and self-respect. The key is knowing how and when to have this conversation in a way that sets the tone for your relationship and protects your peace. First, let's talk about when to bring it up. A lot of people make the mistake of waiting too long, thinking that if they build a deep emotional connection first, it will soften the blow when they finally reveal their decision. But here's the problem: if a man has already developed an expectation that physical intimacy is on the table, dropping this information too late can lead to disappointment, frustration, or even resentment. Not because he doesn't respect your choice, but because he feels misled. The best time to tell a man you're abstinent is early on, ideally before feelings get deeply involved. This doesn't mean you have to bring it up on the first date, but it does mean you should address it before the relationship progresses to a point where assumptions are being made about the direction it's heading. Being upfront about your abstinence early in the dating process is crucial because it sets the foundation for honesty, respect, and alignment in expectations. Many people make the mistake of delaying this conversation out of fear of rejection, but postponing it can lead to misunderstandings, wasted time, and emotional disappointment. The key is to approach the conversation with confidence, clarity, and a sense of self-assurance, knowing that your decision is valid and does not require justification. When entering a new romantic connection, it's important to recognize that everyone comes into relationships with their own perspectives, values, and assumptions. Some may assume that physical intimacy is a given, while others may be open to different dynamics. This is why it's essential to communicate where you stand before emotions deepen and expectations solidify. By addressing it early, you give both yourself and the man an opportunity to assess whether your values align and if the relationship has the potential to move forward in a meaningful way. The best way to bring up abstinence is in a calm, natural, and confident manner. It doesn't need to be a dramatic revelation or an intimidating discussion. A simple statement expressing that you've made this choice for personal reasons and that it's a commitment you stand by is enough. Avoid over-explaining or apologizing for your decision. You don't owe anyone an elaborate justification. The right person will respect your choice without needing a drawn-out explanation. If you approach the conversation with an apologetic tone, it may unintentionally signal uncertainty or hesitation, which can invite unnecessary debate or persuasion attempts. Timing also plays a role in how this message is received. Waiting too long to bring it up, especially after strong emotional attachments have formed, can create a sense of frustration or betrayal if the other person had different expectations. It's best to address it early, ideally within the first few conversations if you sense there is a mutual romantic interest. This ensures that both individuals enter the relationship with a clear understanding of where things stand, preventing misunderstandings or feelings of being misled. It's important to prepare for different reactions when you disclose this information. Some men will respect it immediately and appreciate your honesty, while others may need time to process it. Some may not agree with your decision or feel it aligns with their own desires, and that's okay. The purpose of this conversation is to determine compatibility early on, not to convince someone to accept your decision. If a man reacts with disrespect, dismissiveness, or pressure, take it as a red flag that he may not be the right match for you. A man who truly values you will not try to change your mind or manipulate your boundaries. Abstinence can act as a natural filter in the dating process. It quickly separates those who are genuinely interested in building a connection from those whose primary focus is physical intimacy. This can save you time, energy, and emotional investment in relationships that may not have been built on the right foundation. The right man will not see abstinence as an obstacle, but rather as a part of who you are. Confidence is key when telling a man about your decision to remain abstinent. The way you present this information can influence how he perceives it. If you approach the conversation with hesitation, uncertainty, or fear of rejection, it may create an opening for doubt or pushback. However, when you express your choice with confidence and self-assurance, it sends a clear message that this is not up for debate. A man who respects you will recognize that this decision is an important part of who you are and will honor it accordingly. Many women worry about when to bring up abstinence in a new relationship. Some fear that if they disclose it too soon, they may scare the man away before he has had a chance to get to know them. Others wait too long only to find themselves in a situation where feelings have deepened and the revelation creates tension or disappointment. The best approach is to find a balance early enough to establish clarity, but not so soon that it dominates the initial interaction. A natural time to bring it up is when conversations start moving toward relationships, intimacy, or expectations. This ensures that both people have a clear understanding of each other's values before strong emotional attachments are formed. The way you frame the conversation also matters. Rather than treating it as a difficult or awkward topic, speak about it as a personal decision that you stand by. You don't need to over-explain or defend your choice. Simply stating, I've made the decision to remain abstinent, and it's something that's important to me, is enough. If he asks why, you can share as much or as little as you feel comfortable with, but it's important to remember that you don't need to justify your decision to anyone. A man who genuinely values you will accept it without making you feel like you have to convince him. Some men may respond positively, expressing admiration and respect for your commitment to your values. Others may be surprised, curious, or even unsure of how to react. In some cases, a man may not agree with your decision or feel that it aligns with his own expectations for a relationship. If this happens, it's not a reflection of your worth, it's simply a sign that you may not be the right match for each other. The goal of discussing abstinence early is to filter out those who are not aligned with your values, allowing you to invest in ships that have the potential for long-term compatibility. It's also important to be mindful of how a man responds to this conversation. A man who is genuinely interested in building something meaningful with you will listen, ask thoughtful questions, and respect your boundaries. On the other hand, if he reacts with frustration, pressure, or dismissiveness, take it as a red flag. Any man who tries to persuade you to change your decision or make you feel guilty about it is not someone who truly respects you. A strong foundation in any relationship is built on mutual respect, understanding, and the willingness to honor each other's boundaries. Understanding how to communicate your decision to remain abstinent is crucial for setting the tone in a relationship. When approaching this conversation, it's important to do so with clarity and conviction. Many women hesitate because they fear rejection or judgment, but the right man will respect your decision. The way you present it can make all the difference. If you are uncertain or apologetic about it, it may send the message that you can be persuaded otherwise. On the other hand, if you confidently state that this is your choice and is not up for debate, it sets a clear boundary that a man can either accept or walk away from. The timing of this conversation is equally important. Some people wait too long, hoping that as a man gets to know them, he will be more understanding and accepting. However, delaying this conversation can sometimes lead to emotional entanglement, making it harder for both people if they realize they are not aligned. Addressing abstinence early on allows both of you to make an informed decision about whether the relationship is compatible. The best time to bring it up is when discussions about relationships, expectations, or intimacy naturally arise. It doesn't have to be the very first conversation, but it shouldn't be something that is hidden until deep feelings have already developed. The sooner you bring clarity, the sooner you can determine if you and this man are on the same page. How you frame the conversation also makes a difference. If you approach it as a serious or uncomfortable discussion, it may create unnecessary tension. Instead, speak about it with confidence and self-assurance. You don't need to justify or defend your decision, but rather simply state it as a matter of fact. For example, you can say, I've made the decision to remain abstinent and it's something that's important to me. If he asks why, you can choose how much to share, but remember that you don't owe anyone an explanation for your personal values. A man who truly cares about you will accept it and respect it without making you feel uncomfortable. Reactions will vary depending on the man. Some men will admire your conviction and respect your boundaries without hesitation. Others may need time to process the information, especially if they are used to relationships where intimacy plays a central role early on. In some cases, a man may express that abstinence is not something he is willing to accept in a relationship. If this happens, it's not a sign that you need to change your decision or try to convince him otherwise. It simply means that he may not be the right person for you, and it's better to know this early rather than later when emotions are deeply involved. Pay close attention to how a man reacts when you share your decision. A man who truly values you will listen with an open mind, ask respectful questions, and express his thoughts without trying to pressure or manipulate you. On the other hand, if a man reacts with frustration, dismissiveness, or attempts to change your mind, consider that a red flag. Respect and mutual understanding are the foundations of any healthy relationship. When discussing abstinence with a man, it's important to approach the conversation with confidence and clarity. Many women hesitate to bring it up because they fear rejection or being judged. But the reality is that if a man is truly interested in you for the right reasons, he will respect your decision. If he doesn't, then he is not the right man for you. The way you present this information can set the tone for how he receives it. If you communicate it with uncertainty or hesitation, he may see it as something that can be negotiated. However, if you express it firmly and confidently, he will understand that this is a boundary that must be respected. The key to making this conversation effective is to be direct but also allow room for an open discussion. Instead of making it sound like a rigid rule, express it as a personal choice that reflects your values and what you believe is best for your life. You don't need to over-explain or justify your decision. A simple and confident statement, such as "I've chosen to remain abstinent because it aligns with my what I want for my future," is enough. If he asks why, you can share as much or as little as you feel comfortable, but always remember that you don't owe anyone an explanation for your personal beliefs. A man who respects you will respect your decision without making you feel uncomfortable about it. Timing plays a crucial role in when to bring up this conversation. Some women wait too long, fearing that discussing it early on will scare a man away. However, delaying the conversation can lead to emotional attachment before compatibility is fully established. It's best to bring up abstinence before things start to become physically intimate or before strong feelings develop. The earlier a man knows, the sooner he can decide if he is willing to pursue a relationship under those terms. This helps avoid misunderstandings or disappointment later on. A good time to introduce the topic is when conversations about relationships, values, or expectations naturally arise. It doesn't have to feel like a heavy or awkward topic if it is presented with confidence and certainty. It's also important to recognize that every man will react differently. Some men will immediately respect and admire your conviction, while others may need time to process it. In some cases, a man may realize that abstinence is not something he is willing to accept. If that happens, don't take it personally or feel pressured to change your decision. Not every person will be aligned with your values, and that's okay. It's better to know up front rather than investing time and emotions into someone ultimately does not share your outlook. Pay attention to how a man responds when you tell him. A mature and respectful man will listen without pressuring you or making you feel bad about your decision. He may ask questions to better understand, but his response will be rooted in respect. However, if he tries to challenge your choice, belittle it, or convince you to change your mind, that is a clear red flag. A relationship built on mutual understanding and respect is what you deserve. When discussing abstinence with a man, it's crucial to approach the conversation with honesty, confidence, and clarity. Many women hesitate to bring it up out of fear that it may drive a man away or make things awkward. However, if a man is genuinely interested in you for the right reasons, he will respect your decision. If he doesn't, then he is not the right man for you. The way you communicate your choice will set the tone for how he receives it. If you present it with hesitation or uncertainty, he may assume it's something that can be debated or negotiated. However, if you express it firmly and confidently, he will understand that this is a boundary you have set for yourself and expect to be respected. Bringing up the topic early in a relationship is essential. Many women make the mistake of waiting too long to discuss their choice, thinking it will allow the man to develop deeper feelings before revealing it. However, delaying this conversation can lead to unnecessary heartache if it turns out that the man does not align with your values. The best time to bring it up is when conversations about dating expectations, relationships, or personal values naturally arise. You don't have to make it a dramatic or serious discussion. Simply state it as a part of who you are. For example, you can say, "I've made the choice to remain abstinent because it aligns with my values and what I want for my future." This keeps it direct and confident without over-explaining or justifying your decision. It's important to remember that you don't owe anyone an explanation for your personal beliefs. If a man is truly interested in you as a person and not just for physical intimacy, he will listen with an open mind and respect your choice. However, some men may question your decision or ask why. If you're comfortable sharing, you can explain your reasoning, whether it's due to personal, spiritual, or emotional reasons. If he continues to push or challenge your choice, that is a clear sign that he does not respect your boundaries. A man who truly values you will not pressure you or make you feel guilty about your decision. A mature and emotionally intelligent man will see your decision as a sign of strength and self-respect. He will recognize that your values are important to you and appreciate your honesty. However, not all men will respond positively, and that's okay. Some men may feel that abstinence is not something they can commit to, and they may choose to walk away. If that happens, don't take it personally. It simply means that he is not the right match for you. It's better to find out early rather than investing time in a relationship that isn't compatible with your values. One of the biggest mistakes women make when discussing abstinence is feeling the need to apologize or soften their stance to make a man feel more comfortable. There's nothing wrong with standing firm in your beliefs and expectations. The right man for you will not only respect your choice, but will also support it. He will appreciate that you know what you want and are not willing to compromise on something so important. When sharing your decision to be abstinent, your tone and delivery play a significant role in how a man will receive the information. Many women worry about how to bring up the topic without making it awkward or confrontational. The key is to approach it with confidence, clarity, and a sense of self-assurance. When you communicate your decision in a way that reflects certainty, it leaves little room for misunderstanding. If you seem hesitant or unsure, a man may assume that your choice is flexible or negotiable. But when you present it as a firm boundary, he will understand that it's an important part of who you are and what you stand for. Confidence is not about being aggressive or defensive. It's about owning your truth without fear of judgment or rejection. Many women feel the need to over-explain their decision, worrying that a man will not understand or will push back. But you don't owe anyone an elaborate justification for your personal values. A simple, clear statement is often more effective than a long-winded explanation. For example, instead of saying, I hope this doesn't change the way you see me, but I've made the decision to be abstinent. You can say, I've chosen abstinent because it aligns with what I want for my life and future. The difference is subtle, but one approach sounds apologetic while the other conveys certainty. Your body language also plays a crucial role in this conversation. If you avoid eye contact, fidget, or speak in a way that suggests discomfort, a man may pick up on that and feel unsure about how to respond. However, if you maintain eye contact, speak calmly, and express yourself with certainty, he will respect what you're saying. People naturally respond to the energy you put out, so if you communicate with confidence, a man will take your decision seriously. This doesn't mean that he will always agree or that he will always be on the same page, but he will at least understand that your choice is not up for debate. How a man responds to your decision will tell you a lot about his character and his level of emotional maturity. A man who respects you will accept your choice without making you feel guilty or pressured to change. He may have questions, and that's okay. A mature conversation allows both people to understand each other better. However, if a man becomes dismissive, tries to convince you otherwise, or reacts negatively, that is a clear red flag. A relationship should be built on mutual respect. And if a man cannot respect this boundary, he is not the right partner for you. There will be men who admire and appreciate your decision because it reflects a level of discipline and self-awareness. They will see it as a sign of strength rather than a limitation. Some men may even find it refreshing to meet a woman who knows exactly what she wants and is not afraid to stand by it. The right man will not see your choice as a challenge to overcome, but as a part of who you are. He will value your standards and recognize that they contribute to the kind of relationship you want to build. Timing is everything when it comes to sharing your decision to be abstinent. Many women struggle with when to bring up the conversation, fearing that saying it too soon might scare a man away, while waiting too long might lead to misunderstandings or false expectations. The key is to find a balance that allows you to communicate your values without making it feel like a dramatic or heavy topic. It's important to share this information early enough that a man knows what to expect, but not so soon that it feels like an unnecessary disclaimer. Ideally, the conversation should happen naturally when discussions about relationships, values, or physical boundaries arise. One mistake some women make is waiting until they are in a moment of temptation or intimacy to bring it up. This can create an awkward or tense situation, especially if a man has assumed that physical intimacy is part of the relationship. Instead of waiting until things escalate, it's best to discuss it during a calm and neutral moment. This allows both of you to talk openly without the pressure of the moment influencing the conversation. If a man knows your stance from the beginning, he will not feel blindsided later on, and he will have the opportunity to decide if he can respect and align with your decision. The way you bring up the topic matters just as much as the timing. You don't want to frame it in a way that sounds like a warning or a test. Instead of saying, just so you know, I don't do that, you can say, I want to be upfront about my values and where I stand when it comes to intimacy. This approach makes it clear that you are simply sharing an important aspect of who you are rather than trying to impose a rule on him. The conversation should be about honesty and understanding, not about judgment or pressure. How a man reacts to your decision will reveal a lot about his intentions and level of respect for you. A man who is genuinely interested in you for who you are will listen, ask questions, and respect your boundaries. He may need time to process it, especially if he has been in relationships where physical intimacy was expected early on. However, if he is serious about building something meaningful with you, he will not pressure you or make you feel bad about your choice. On the other hand, if a man immediately becomes distant, dismissive, or tries to change your mind, that is a sign that he was never truly interested in you beyond the physical. It is also important to recognize that the right man for you will be someone who aligns with your values or, at the very least, respects them deeply. If a man cannot handle your decision with maturity and respect, then he is not the right fit for the kind of relationship you are looking for. The right man will not just tolerate your choice, he will honor and appreciate it because he values you as a person, not just what you can offer physically. Confidence in your decision to be abstinent is crucial when communicating it to a man. If you approach the conversation with uncertainty or hesitation, it may send mixed signals or leave room for doubt in his mind. A firm and confident stance shows that this is not just a temporary phase, but a deeply held conviction that is important to you. When you fully embrace your decision and communicate it with certainty, a man is more likely to respect and accept it without questioning or challenging you on it. One way to demonstrate confidence is by being clear and direct about your boundaries. Instead of sugarcoating your stance or making it seem like a negotiable preference, state it in a way that leaves no room for misinterpretation. You don't have to be harsh or confrontational, but you should express it in a way that makes it clear that this is not something you are willing to compromise on. A man will respect you more when he sees that you are firm in your values and not willing to bend under pressure. Confidence also means not feeling the need to justify or over-explain your decision. Some women feel pressured to provide a long explanation or a list of reasons why they've chosen abstinence, but the reality is your decision does not require anyone's approval. If a man asks why, you can simply say, this is what aligns with my values and what I believe is best for me. You don't owe anyone a deep dive into your personal journey unless you feel comfortable sharing it. The right man will accept your choice without making you feel like you need to defend it. To being confident in your decision, you should also be confident in what you bring to a relationship beyond physical intimacy. Some women fear that a man will lose interest if sex is off the table, but that fear only exists when you don't fully recognize your own worth. When you know that you bring love, kindness, support, depth, intelligence, and joy to a relationship, you won't feel the need to rely on physical intimacy to keep a man interested. A high value woman understands that her presence alone is valuable, and the right man will see that too. A man will pick up on how you feel about your own decision. If you seem apologetic or unsure, he may interpret that as an opportunity to push your boundaries. But when you stand firmly in your truth and express it with confidence, he will have no choice but to respect it. Confidence also removes any fear of rejection. If a man walks away because of your decision, you can stand strong knowing that he was never truly meant for you. A man who values you for who you are will not see abstinence as a deal breaker, but as a testament to your strength and commitment to your values. Patience is essential when discussing abstinence. It's important to recognize that not every man will immediately understand or accept your decision, and that's okay. Some men may need time to process what abstinence means in the context of a relationship, especially if it's not something they've encountered before. Rushing the conversation or expecting instant agreement may create unnecessary tension, so allowing space for discussion and reflection can lead to a more respectful and productive outcome. Patience also means being prepared for different reactions. Some men may be supportive right away, while others may have questions or concerns. Instead of becoming defensive or frustrated, take the time to listen to his thoughts and address any misconceptions he may have. Many men have been conditioned to believe that physical intimacy is a necessary component of a healthy relationship, so it's understandable that he may need a moment to adjust his perspective. A calm and patient approach will help him feel safe expressing his feelings, which can lead to a more open and honest dialogue. It's also important to give yourself grace in this process. If you're new to abstinence or haven't had this conversation before, you may feel nervous or unsure about how to handle different reactions. Patience with yourself means recognizing that you don't have to have all the answers or navigate the conversation perfectly. If you feel overwhelmed, take a step back and remind yourself why you made this choice in the first place. The right man will appreciate your honesty and will be willing to meet you where you are. Patience is especially valuable when it comes to identifying whether a man is truly aligned with your values. Some men may initially agree with your decision, but later try to test your boundaries. Others may express interest in continuing the relationship but struggle with self-control. Instead of making quick assumptions, take your time to observe his actions over time. Does he respect your decision, even when temptation arises? Does he continue to invest in emotional intimacy rather than seeking physical validation? These are key indicators of whether he truly respects you and your values. At the same time, patience should not be mistaken for tolerating disrespect. If a man continuously tries to pressure you or makes you feel guilty for your choice, that is a red flag. Being patient does not mean allowing someone to manipulate or coerce you into compromising your values. Instead, patience is about giving space for understanding while maintaining firm boundaries. The right man will not need to be convinced or coerced into respecting you. He will do so willingly because he sees your worth beyond physical intimacy. Patience also applies to the timing of the conversation itself. While it's important to be upfront about your values, that doesn't mean you have to introduce the topic on the first date. It's okay to take your time and bring it up when you feel a deeper connection forming. This allows the conversation to happen in a natural and meaningful way rather than feeling forced or premature. Trust that the right man will not only hear you, but will respect your journey without making you feel rushed or judged. Understanding how to communicate your decision about abstinence requires confidence and clarity. Many people struggle with difficult conversations because they fear rejection or judgment, but being firm in your beliefs will help you navigate these discussions with self-assurance. When you approach the topic from a place of confidence, it sends a strong message that your decision is not up for debate or negotiation. This sets the tone for the relationship and ensures that you are being respected from the very beginning. Confidence starts with understanding your reasons for choosing abstinence, whether it's based on personal values, religious beliefs, emotional well-being, or a desire for deeper connection. Knowing your why gives you the strength to stand firm in your decision. When you are clear about your reasoning, you won't feel the need to justify or defend yourself. Instead, you'll be able to express your perspective with certainty, making it easier for the right man to understand and accept your stance. Clarity is equally important in this conversation. Some people struggle to communicate their boundaries effectively because they worry about how the other person will react. However, being vague or hesitant can lead to misunderstandings or give the impression that your decision is flexible. Instead of using uncertain language like "I think I want to wait" or "I'm not sure if I'm ready," make your stance clear. A simple, confident statement such as "I've chosen to remain abstinent because it aligns with my values" leaves no room for confusion. Confidence also means being prepared for different reactions. Not every man will respond positively, and that's okay. If a man reacts with frustration, dismissiveness, or tries to pressure you into changing your mind, that is a reflection of him, not you. A man who genuinely respects you will appreciate your honesty and will not try to challenge your boundaries. If someone reacts negatively, trust that this is a sign that he is not the right fit for you. In addition to setting the foundation for respect, confidence in your decision will also attract the right type of man. A man who is looking for a meaningful relationship will appreciate a woman who knows what she wants and stands firm in her values. He will admire your strength and recognize that your decision comes from a place of self-respect and intentionality. Instead of feeling intimidated or put off, he will see it as a sign that you are serious about finding a partner who aligns with your values. Confidence is not feeling the need to over-explain. While it's natural to want to share your reasoning, you do not owe anyone a lengthy explanation for your personal choices. A man who is genuinely interested in you will respect your decision without demanding excessive justification. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. Your confidence in yourself and your value speaks for itself. Lastly, confidence also means knowing when to walk away. If a man continuously challenges your boundaries or tries to guilt you into changing your decision, he is showing you that he does not truly respect you. Walking away from someone who does not align with your values is not a loss. It is making space for the right man to enter your life. At the end of the day, telling a man that you're abstinent is not just about informing him. It's about filtering out the ones who aren't aligned with your values. It's about setting the tone for your relationships and ensuring that you're building with someone who truly respects you. A man who is serious about you will not be deterred by your decision. Instead, he will admire your self-respect and be willing to walk that journey with you. So don't be afraid to own your truth, stand in your values, and trust that the right man will honor both.